Hello and good evening. I'm Stephen McKenzie, and I'm guest hosting this segment of Meet the Artist for SOMAtv. And my guests this evening are Cynthia Weiss from 1978 Gallery and Mansa Mussa, very long time artist on the Newark scene, doing multiple, covering multiple areas, over 53 years of practicing as an artist. Welcome to this segment of Meet the Artist. Now, this past weekend, we've just completed a major printmaking project called the Quarter Mile Print. And the project endeavored to do a printing that would be a quarter mile in distance, and that's exactly what we did. It required a great deal of participation on the part of volunteer artists and members of the artist community, as well as the public, in order to accomplish our objectives. The project was about 6 months in planning, starting around February, when I spoke to Linwood Oglesby, the Newark Arts Council's executive director, and proposed the idea to him, and he was very positive in regard to his response, and gave me the go-ahead to begin the planning and ultimately the execution of the project. Now, it was quite an endeavor to pull this project together, and over the months, making contact with say companies, for example, to do to borrow the steamroller for the printing, and the company to donate the paper, and the company to do the inks, and a variety of other organizations, and took a little bit of time and some organization to pull together. I think the thing that's most important to discuss with regards to this project, though, is how it really impacted on the community. And I think that I'd like to perhaps begin that discussion with my artist this evening. Cynthia, you go first in terms of what you might have to say in regard to what you would feel is the impact that the project...
Well, it was a huge impact on me, and I was just very pleased to be part of it, thrilled to be part of it. It was a very exciting day, and it did take a long time. We met frequently to mix inks and to prepare ideas and how we were going to, proceed, right, the process and what we needed. It just took a lot of brain searching and communication, and it was a long process, but I can't believe we pulled it off. I was just really just.
I recall our first meeting at the printmaking center, right? We had a
very first meeting.
Very first meeting. I think we had it was you, it was Beth, and it was Greta. There was 3 people showed up at this meeting, and I'm going, well, if there's an omen, or if this is auspicious.
Well, we kept on pursuing it.
We did. That's
kept
true.
on pursuing it.
Yeah.
You were on top of everything, getting the inks, getting all the supplies, and getting people to come, and help prepare the whole thing. And even the person who did donate, or not donate, but help with the inks. Susan Rostow came and helped us to show exactly how to use these inks, which are a fairly new type of etching ink.
Yeah.
A very safe, water soluble, and we spent a lot of time doing that. And we did a practice run
at the Steamroller Garage.
At the Steamroller
Garage.
Right, and I will show you that print a little bit. So then the day came, and we spent 2.5 hours laying out our print plastic.
The printing track, as I would refer.
20 track, okay. Then got it all set, got everything on the tables for everybody to be able to get their supplies, and started out. It started out slowly, and then it just gained momentum. And by mid-afternoon, it was a lot of people.
We were rolling.
Yeah,
We
and
were
we're just
rolling.
going, and we were so busy, we didn't know whether we were coming or going. At least I didn't. I mean, it was it was really. And then, of course, we had gusts of wind, which started blowing the prints all over the street. But it was really quite exciting. I mean, it was a whole street full of these tracks, printing tracks, and then all the staff had these shirts, which Steve made for us with a steamroller on it, so that people would know who to come to. Guys in the red shirt.
Guys in the red shirts, yes.
Yes, and then Steve will explain the printing process, since that's his baby. But everybody came and got the colors of inks that they wanted, and got these little sponge brushes, and just kneeled down and just created whatever they felt like creating, and it was really quite amazing.
Yeah, it truly was. Mansa, give me some of your thoughts and impressions on the day, and what you thought of the whole program and process.
Well, it was a great day in Newark. Another great day in Newark.
Another great day.
Another great day in
Another
Newark.
great day in Newark.
I love working in public projects like this, because you never know what's going to happen. It's just just a whole synergy of energy that was out there that day. I remember we did the one in 1999.
We did, 1999.
At the museum.
Oh, yes.
And I remember when you said we're going to block off a street and do this. I said, block off a street? I said, well, okay, no problem. And then for me, the first time we were going to do it was October the 7th, and it rained. And I was part of a lecture at Gallery of Faro. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to get over to the printing, do some printing early, go to Gallery of Faro, and then come back out. So I wasn't one who was unhappy that it didn't happen on the 7th. I was actually glad that it happened on the 20th.
Yeah, actually, I think that ultimately would be my statement as well. That in the end, I think that the rescheduling of the project to the 20th turned out to definitely be a better date.
It was a beautiful day.
For the event.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah,
It was
definitely
a little windy, but
right,
but it was
not
a great
bad.
day. It was
Yeah.
a great day. And then the thing that I remember and sort of enjoyed the most was that when I got on the scene, I came across this little girl, Sky, and I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me, and we both say, where have I met you before? And this was a little girl I had met at this poetry project at Rutgers, and she was the only child in the audience while I was giving a lecture. And I said, little girl, you've been listening to me. Let me give you this card. I gave her a postcard with a photograph on it. And so she and I collaborated, and we worked on I told her, you do the first one, and I'll do the second one. And she was just working. One of the things I tried to do was I cut a stencil before I started, just to give me some energy, some place to go. And then I brought leaves from home. And so we started working with the leaves and the stencils, and I had some other little circles, and she started making designs with the circles. And then, interesting thing about the environment, the wind is blowing and leaves were blowing. People were taking leaves and they were adding them to their designs, you know. And that was one of the interesting things that was just happening that day. It was a windy day,
right.
so people said, "Hey, let's add leaves."
Right.
And it was just such a fabulous day. It was wonderful.
It was just
Truly.
fabulous.
Yeah, truly it was, truly. Well, I guess just to speak a bit about the type of print that we made that day. Basically, technically, the term for that type of print is known as a monotype. And a monotype is a type of print that is one of the easiest prints to make. It's the least technical in its process. In fact, people with no printmaking experience whatsoever made a print on that day. Okay, so that just lets you know right there that this is a process that's accessible and open to people across the public range, audiences, you name it.
And fun.
And fun, right?
That's right.
I think that's the thing about the the technique, is that it is truly fun to do. It's real play. It's really play, versus many of the other printmaking techniques, which require a lot of technical expertise in order to begin to create your first image. Okay, so.
Right.
But again, what I should just back up and just once more say, a monotype in its essence is the transference of an image from one surface to another surface, and the surface is completely free of any any marks or anything. It's and so you step up, you do your creative acts, you paint, you draw, etc., and then you take a sheet of paper, you place it on top of that surface, and then pressure is used to transfer that image from one surface to another surface, and that is in essence what a monotype print is. And it's the easiest form of printmaking for people who have no printmaking experience but want to enjoy the printmaking process. Plus, again, the process will really lend itself to the community. There's no question about it. This is the printmaking process.
So many parents came with their children
Yep.
Yes.
and participated in it. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. So, so the whole event just was quite an endeavor for myself, because while I've done large projects before, this was the first project of this magnitude. I mean, I participated in the printmaking project that we did in 1999 in front of the museum, where we ultimately received a record from the Guinness Book of World Records. So, but for this particular print, I chose not to do the print as a continuous whole.
Why not? Why didn't you?
I chose it because I didn't want that responsibility of caring for this extremely large sheet of paper. I didn't want this piece to end up in a dustbin or in a closet. What I really wanted was for people to come, enjoy the process, and then walk away with their prints right on the spot. Take it home, do whatever, and no more. So, okay, I guess we're just about out of time for this particular segment. Do I need to continue speaking, or are we almost done? So, okay. Well, listen, why don't we just wrap this segment up here, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes to do part 2 of our Meet the Artists series this evening. Thank you.
Once you're hit by a train, this is the size of bag that we'll use to collect what's left of you on the tracks.
It was a horrible tragedy that could have been averted if we had just stayed off the tracks.
I don't want to have to be the one that has to go tell your parents that you're dead.
Make the right choice. Stay off the tracks.
I'm Steve McKenzie, and welcome back to our second half of our segment, Meet the Artist. And this evening we're speaking about the quarter-mile print that we just executed in Washington Park in Newark. And with me are Cynthia Weiss and Mansa Mussa. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the work that was created for the project. So first I'll turn to you, Mansa, this time to give me your show your work that you created. Talk a little bit about the imagery and how you did it. In fact.
Oh, okay. So I'm a printmaker. I was trained by Master Ben Jones in silk screening. but rarely done monoprints. So I didn't know what to do that day. I had no clue. So I always know, just prepare something which will give me some energy that's going to help me just get started. So I started out by cutting out a stencil. Okay, this is one of the traditional figures that I make of my face. I've been doing this since I was in the 4th grade. Every day I draw this face because it affirms to me that I'm an artist. Every day I draw this.
Nice.
So
very nice.
I started out with this drawing, and then even on that day, that morning, I was cutting out different things while I was hanging out. So this is what I started out with, this stencil, all right? And then I did a series of prints. This was one of them. And that's how one of them came.
Very nice.
I used leaves that I brought with me, and then leaves that I found on the ground. And then this one I started to work on it and collage it with some of the leaves that I printed, and also working on hand. This is my favorite. This didn't turn out the way I wanted it to.
But
or
that's
expected
always
it
how
to.
it works
But
out.
That's what
That's
made
how it always
fun,
works. That's
you know?
usually the best. Those are usually the best.
Those are the best
Those
ones.
are the best, yeah.
And so this is what I came up with, which
wow.
to me was
wonderful.
abstract.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
you know, it was abstract. And
But
there
the
are
colors are
leaves in
so
here.
rich, you know.
Yeah.
There's such a vibrancy about the
wonderful
piece.
Yeah, I love the
You know, and it
ink.
has such dynamic energy to it. It's just wonderful, Mansa, you know. So, yeah.
So one of the things that was interesting too is that when we made the print on the street, we got a texture from the actual pavement that
Yeah,
showed up
yeah,
on the back
yeah.
of the print
Right.
and showed up on the front of the print. That
Right,
was, I mean,
right.
that was one of the unexpected things
Right.
that was really
Yeah.
great
Right.
about this printing process.
Right.
Yeah, speaking of that, I got holes in mine.
Okay, you go next, Cynthia.
Okay.
Talk about
Well,
your
I was
piece.
so busy that day
Yeah.
that I really didn't have a chance
know.
to get down and make my own print. I should have done it when I got there early, and then I would have been able to. But I did participate in the trial run.
You had a trial run.
And so I have a trial run print that we did, and it does have a few holes in it. So it,
But you can't tell where they are.
It
So,
was part of the process. You did it on
a
purpose.
part of the process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and we knew the whole thing was going to
Yeah.
go off and
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
that was
Right.
that was the nice
Right.
thing about it.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think the thing to speak about is the fact that there were no preconceived, so to speak, notions or ideas about the work that was to be executed or made that day. You know, many times with projects of this nature and this size, there's a certain kind of predestined sort of work placed into the project in order to secure its success. And in this particular case with our project, there was no guarantee we were going to be successful, so to speak. There was none. We were out there without a net. So
Flying
to
by the
speak.
seat of our pants.
Right, we're flying by the
Yes,
seat of our
yes.
pants. First with the idea of actually doing a printing. In the end, I suppose what we might say it was a printing that ended up to be 1/4 of a mile long, due to the fact that we had to use over 500 sheets of paper in order to go that distance. Okay, so I think though that that as a result of allowing, say, a certain amount of just random chance to be a part of this whole project, I think that's what is ultimately brought about the success of the piece and
yes,
and
yes,
the way that people just were energetic in their creative.
Yeah, and especially the teenagers.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
mean,
the
that came
teenagers
later.
were-
Oh,
Yeah.
they just kept printing
Yeah.
and printing and printing.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
had one person make 60 prints.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Wow.
And of course, I had to wrap them all up.
yeah, I know. Oh my God, I don't know how you did it, Cynthia. Oh my God.
So where did the steamroller come in?
Okay, where does
Yes.
the
What's the
steam-
story
where
of the
does-
Yes,
what's the
we-
story? What's the story? Okay, I have to give some background information, and that has to do with the fact that being a printmaker, I'd always wanted to do work that was printmaking work that was somewhat avant-garde or adventurous. And one day I was watching a paving crew, and lo and behold, what popped into my head was the roller that they were using, the steamroller, as you know, generally as it's known, although it's an anachronistic term these days. But the roller, the steamroller they were using today, it was like, well, that's nothing but a big press that I can drive around in, right? That's nothing but a big press that I can drive. I can make a print as big as I want if I got one of those steamrollers. So one day I was at my day job, and I happened to see this small crew paving some patchwork. And I went over to the supervisor of the crew and said, excuse me, like, how much are these steamrollers here? And he said, well, all depends on what you're looking for, what you want, couple thousand or so. But he said, you know, if you're interested, I've got a couple in my back lot if you want to come over. So I said, that's a deal. I'll do it. So a couple days later, I go over to the man's back lot, and there's this steamroller, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. It was perfect, and it was $600. So it was my first steamroller. So of course, you know, try to say to your wife when you come home, honey, guess what I bought? I got us a steamroller, honey. And I'm gonna make some art with it. So that started my career as a printmaking steamroller artist. I did I probably did 10 or 12 or 15 different projects over a period of 20 years. Honestly, my very first project that I did was 100 feet long, and I used two sheets. I used canvas for one, and I used paper for another. So the canvas was 40 feet by about 7 feet wide, and the paper was 60 feet by about maybe 4 feet wide. And I just rolled it all out. Basically, I did the same technique that we did for the quarter mile: the plastic on the ground, inking the plastic, laying the paper and the canvas on top of that, and then driving all over it with the steamroller. That was that first project was in the mid to late '80s that I did it. So from there on, every summer I'd take my vacation time and I'd go out to this location in Pennsylvania and I'd make another steamroller print or a couple of steamroller prints. Okay, up till about, say, maybe the mid-90s, and then I stopped for a period of time, and then one day I called to say, hey, I'm coming down to do another steamroller project, and the guy said, no, you won't be doing another project. I said, what? Well, why not? And he said, well, your steamroller isn't here no more. I said, what? He said, no, it's gone. I said, well, where'd it go? And he said, well, you know, it's somewhere along Swamp Pike Turnpike. It's like, oh, thanks, Walter. Good buddy. What happened was this guy who was living at this place where I had my steamroller stored had let his pals come in and take the roller for scrap. So that's how I lost my steamroller.
Oh.
Got stolen on me.
Very sad story.
Very sad story. Well, someday I'm going to have another steamroller of my
I'm
own.
sure.
But in the meantime, it's turned out that I think renting steamrollers is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
That was a great steamroller.
That was. It truly
And you
was.
should talk about the decorations that you
of
put
course,
on the
of
steamroller.
course.
And the fact that you let the kids, help you drive the steamroller.
Absolutely.
They loved it.
That's the best part of it, Cynthia. Absolutely.
I mean, you had flags on it and signs for all the people who had donated things and contributed to the project. Right. And you had all these flags flying around. Yes, and then you had these kids and they were all, they're so excited. Yeah. It was really
We were
good.
all-
A good
We were
day.
all kids, Cynthia.
Yeah, I know.
We were all kids.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that was fabulous. Truly.
So where's this work going? It's going to be exhibited? You're going to put
Well-
it somewhere? What's happening with it now?
Okay, well, at this point in time, just got the word from Cynthia here that we're going to be showing the prints at Gallery 1978. Okay, so
April 4th to the May 4th to the 26th.
May 4th is,
Oh, good.
and anybody, maybe we could say anybody who participated, say, in the project,
Yeah.
could bring their print and have it displayed at the gallery.
Right,
Okay, they
right.
could bring it. I mean, I've got, as I mentioned, I've gathered up all the orphans and I've got them in my van and I'm going to dry them out and
Yeah.
we're going to use
You
those.
have some good ones in there.
I think we do. I think we got some wonderful
Yeah,
prints
you've
in
got
there,
some really good
and I think
ones.
it's going to be a great show.
Yeah,
and I think
floor to
people-
ceiling.
Yep, floor to ceiling. Yep, we're going to wallpaper the gallery.
That would be exciting.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, we're getting close to our wrap-up time, so I guess what I would like to do is thank you both for taking your time to come on and speak about your part and your participation in the Quarter Mile print project. And also, I would like to take a few moments to give thanks to some of the organizations who helped: the Newark Arts Council, Linwood Oglesby, the paper company, Canson Paper. Ed Brickler was the man responsible for getting the paper donated, about $2,000 worth of paper donated. Susan Rostow and Bill Jung, the owners, makers of the Akua inks, were very helpful as well to get the materials to us. Also, got to thank my cousin Dan, who has always been an art patron, and my mom. Got to give my mom a thanks, and just got to thank my crew, all my crew, for all the help they did, etc., etc., etc. Thank you.